It's a phone call these families wouldn't wish on anyone.
I wanted to just at least just hold him one more time.
A 15-year-old boy just beginning high school.
Nico was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
A father of 4, newly engaged, murdered in front of his 2 children on a busy sunny afternoon.
You took a father away from his children. You robbed the children from their father.
A newborn baby girl tragically left behind the same day she was born.
You have a young child that never got to, live their life.
A proud uncle, a son, gunned down, known witnesses refusing to come forward.
I need this to be at rest.
We see the damage and feel the pain of the loss in our communities every day. Closure doesn't change that, but those left without answers and justice say they are stuck in that day and haunted by the reality that the person responsible might still be out there. The hope is that revisiting these cases can refresh the public, bring in a tip, or cause a change of heart for someone out there to come forward and do the right thing. I'm Kelly Rule. This is SOS Unsolved Cases.
He was like, had your back, like, you know what I mean? Like, I know he would do anything for me. That's the kind of kid he was. He'd do anything for whoever he loved. Yeah. And that's how he died.
15-year-old Nico Rivera was in many ways a typical teenage boy. He loved baseball, gaming, bikes, being active.
I feel like I need to protect them.
Mom, Esther Kim, says as a freshman in high school, he wanted his space and she was learning how to navigate that. Living in Oxford Circle, he attended Samuel Fells High School, but she wanted a new start for the family and moved to North Philadelphia. She says shortly after starting at Fells, Nico was jumped during a fight and she pulled him out to go to Kensington High School, close to their new home.
And I feel like he really tried to, towards the end, like I saw a different, like, shift, and yeah.
She says Monday, March 13th, 2023, started like an ordinary day. She went to work. She had to travel more than an hour outside the city that day, and Nico went to school like usual. But he didn't stay there. Lieutenant Tom Walsh with the Philadelphia Police Department says Nico left around 10 a.m. because of a fight his friends were involved in back at Fells.
From the little bit of video we recovered from the high school, it appears as though some younger males entered the high school, and there was a fight between those males and 1 or 2 people that were actually attending the high school.
Police can't say if Nico ever entered the school, but they know he met up with those friends in the area of 6100 Algon Avenue. It was there just after noon that officers got a 911 call about a person with a gun and responded, they say, to find Nico on the ground with multiple gunshot wounds to his body.
The way the investigation unfolded, we believe that Nico's friend was actually the intended target and that Nico was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Esther says she got a phone call from a doctor at Einstein Medical Center around 1 p.m. telling her that her son was there and she needed to come in person. She rushed back to the city.
I was really trying to respect the system of things, but I didn't even get to see him. Like, I got there, and he was already gone. He was already at the corners. I wanted to just at least just hold him one more time, but I didn't get to see him, and he was already there.
Police later released this surveillance video. They say it shows this man, believed to be one of 3 shooters, cross Algon Avenue and walk down Oxford Avenue, then turn around and suddenly start shooting Nico, who was walking with his friend at the time.
So while the video shows 1 shooter, the physical evidence shows that there was at least 3 guns that were fired that day. Just based on video, it's very tough. Like you said, you saw it, it's not very clear. Even if you do have video, you're going to still need the public's help. You're going to need somebody to step up and identify who that person is in that video. I could have hours and hours of video, crystal clear, and still not know who those people are.
Esther says the video is haunting.
I don't know, the gun culture, I was oblivious. He used to wear like 3 jackets, the poor thing. And I would be like snapping on him, like, why are you wearing 3 jackets? Like, what are you? And I think that he thought like that would protect them. Like, I didn't think that age group was already like that.
It's very disturbing, very disturbing.
About a month after Nico's death, the Philadelphia School District reported that 100 students were shot during the 2022 to 2023 school year. Esther says Nico's friend walking with him when he was killed was later injured in a different shooting.
The boy that was running with my son in the video, he got shot like a little while later. He got shot. Like, they found him and they tried to kill him too. He didn't die. He didn't die, but he's not speaking. All the kids know who it is. All the school knows it. It went in there the day he got killed. They went in the school, and then that's where it started. And then it just flowed over to the projects over there. I understand that they're scared, and the hope I hold on to is maybe when they turn into adults. Even if this case doesn't get solved till years later and it's on their conscience, maybe they choose to say something.
In Esther's apartment, where her daughter also lives and who's now 15 years old, Nico's bike sits in a bedroom. His picture with candles on her island, his cross, which was a placeholder before his headstone came in, sits with her plant display. And she rested this donated painting by her bedside.
You know, I just kind of try to respect the system. Trying to call, be angry and yell and demand, it doesn't get anything done. You kind of like become your own like vigilante, like, because you feel like you're not doing nothing. You feel like, okay, well then I gotta do it myself, and I lose energy.
Police say the evidence has only taken them so far. Now they need the public's help.
At first I was kind of like, you know, let nature take its course, like it's just gonna cycle back. I have bad thoughts for them. They hurt my child. Like I want them to feel my pain, I guess.
Everybody went to high school. Everybody was a teenager. Things aren't kept quiet. We just need somebody, anybody, just to come forward, help us out just a little bit.
Every year I say, I'm gonna do it, and then I freeze up and I don't do it.
A beautiful box with her son's name, an ode to his favorite sport, loving son and father. It's been 10 years this month, but Crystal Heath says she still can't bring herself to move her 33-year-old son's ashes inside, despite a mental count of every single day that's passed.
To count the days is insane, but I got nothing else. I have nothing else. He was a colorful guy.
Crystal is now going for her doctorate, living in Magnolia, Delaware, a journey from when she had her son Edwin, who goes by Eddie, in New York.
We grew up together. I was a teenage mom, and, you know, I wanted better for him.
Eddie kept his love for New York teams and music, but fully adapted to a new life in Delaware, starting a family of his own. Newly engaged, 4 children, living in Bear.
He lived every day, you know, of his life for those kids.
Less than 24 hours after talking to his mom about planning a vacation, Newcastle County Police say on May 13th, 2015, around 4 in the afternoon on a nice spring day, Eddie parked just outside his apartment building at 149 Antlers Lane, part of Fox Run Townhomes. His 9-year-old daughter and 6-year-old son, who has special needs, stayed in the car.
Our officers responded to the scene and find a male subject on the curb between the parking area and the front door of the residence, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds.
Eddie's kids ran off and hid in a nearby wooded area.
And I get a phone call from my daughter-in-law and said Eddie got shot. I said, you gotta be kidding me. I said, not Eddie. And when she said that, I mean, all I could do was just scream. He didn't deserve to be gunned down at 4 o'clock on a Wednesday All of these children out here coming home from school, and these cowards do this. Cowards.
Police say they've spoken with a number of witnesses and determined that the man in this surveillance video from the complex was the shooter, lingering around a park, possibly on a phone, before killing Eddie. After the shooting, police believe he went towards Route 40 and got inside some kind of sedan.
Description of the individual wasn't very detailed. The only thing that kept arising during our initial investigation was that this person potentially had a thick beard or potentially a fake beard that he was using as a disguise.
Detective Joshua Smith with the Newcastle County Police Cold Case Unit says they've extensively looked into the fake beard theory, but came up short. Worked to track down that nondescript sedan, looked at DNA and ballistic evidence, cell phone records, and have spoken to witnesses. Crystal says her son was in a custody battle at the time.
It was calculated because once he went in the house, they knew what time he would come back out. These folks, they can run from state to state, from county to county, but they're gonna get caught. They're going to get caught. They have to.
We definitely believe that there's more witnesses out there who have, for whatever reason, not felt comfortable coming forward and speaking to us. But the fact that his children witnessed it and had to live with that all these years with no closure and no justice is probably the saddest part of the whole thing.
Eddie is the king of hearts in the Crime Stoppers deck of cards handed out to area prisons and community centers. Crystal keeps close contact with police. Eddie's oldest daughter is now 19 and attending college. His youngest, who was only 7 months old at the time he died, never got to know him.
You know, looking at my oldest granddaughter, she looks exactly like my son, and when I see her, I see him. All of his children have his personality. They're smart. I'm just asking, help us out, you know, so that my son can rest, so I can take the ashes out of the original box and put them in here.
In 1986, this was sort of like almost the center of town.
Bustling Priscilla Town Center along Route 42 in Washington Township, equipped with cameras and other security measures, looked a lot different 38 years ago.
But back in 1986, there was no cameras here at all. So detectives had to start from zero.
Chief Patrick Gersick with the Washington Township Police Department says on the morning of December 4th, 1986, a pig farmer searching for food and scraps for his farm in a dumpster behind what was Paisano's Pizza at the time made a horrific discovery.
And he came upon a baby. He thought it was a baby inside of a trash bag that he had ripped open.
The FBI Philadelphia says baby Jane Doe was wrapped in this distinct towel showing an African plain scene with a cheetah image, pictures that investigators thought would bring in more tips. They believe she was born that day, full term, white, 7 pounds with dark hair and brown eyes. Her death was ruled a homicide by asphyxiation. Chief Gersick says he was a police explorer with the department when the case came in. Baby Jane's file sits on his desk. He frequently talks with the since-retired detectives that diligently work the case.
They believe whoever left the baby back in that dumpster was from this area. There was no one in the motels, 3 or 4 in town at the time, that any of the managers could remember, like a pregnant female staying there. The detectives also checked with the local schools in like the South Jersey area, seeing if there was any pregnant students possibly.
Chief Gersick says investigators are using forensic DNA testing with the evidence they have to try to get answers, giving him renewed hope. He shared this picture of baby Jane's unmarked grave in Calvary Cemetery in Cherry Hill, donated by the Diocese of Camden shortly after her death. She was named Christine in honor of Christmas by those that helped with that process. Today, the patch of grass, now dirt, after a major development.
You have a young child that never got to, live their life. Obviously, law enforcement is busy day to day with the things that happen now, but we don't forget the things that happened before.
Earlier this year, the Gloucester County Prosecutor's Office with the FBI, New Jersey State Police, and Washington Township Police exhumed the body of baby Jane Doe here at Calvary Cemetery in Cherry Hill. They say they were able to pull viable samples and sent them off for DNA testing.
This takes public monies in order to do something like this. So we don't, you don't enter into this without a lot of thought and say, okay, do we expend the resources, both human resources, as far as investigatively, as well as the cost of the technology assessment that we're talking about. So you never really know, but you know that you should try. When we put that all together, hopefully we get a hit.
Chief of Detectives Tom Gilbert says they outsource for the testing with companies that look at cases across the country, and it can take some time.
In this case, we can't guarantee that we will get results that are going to take us further, but if we didn't do these steps, we wouldn't be any further along.
He says he's hopeful based on other successful outcomes they've seen, including an identity for the boy in the box in Philadelphia. That came after exhuming his body for a second time and testing DNA, leading to their first crack in the case in 66 years.
But when you see those, victories get accomplished, leveraging this technology, it does encourage us. This one's worth a try. With this situation, if we do find, something out, was it, something, just somebody panicked that it was accidental, or was it, more than that? Will we be able to actually, ever figure that out? We don't know sitting here today. But we hope that by what we're doing, it might get us a step closer to, some answers and understanding.
But that was his thing, to ride bikes, dirt bikes. And you see that big old smile? That was him. That was Andrew. I miss him. I miss him.
Leda Muniz says this picture sums up her 28-year-old son, Andrew Ayala, known as Drew. Outside, riding, smiling. The only thing it doesn't show is his big heart, which she says was sometimes misunderstood.
He didn't have any children, so he loved his nieces and nephews. He was always picking them up, taking them places. A very loving person. But he had his ways, you know what I mean? Because he was overprotective, he was overprotective. He had so many friends that now I see that they were never friends.
Leda says her son was still trying to find his way, and at times it impacted their relationship. That was the case on January 3rd, 2022. She says she had family over her house. She has 4 other children. Drew wasn't there, and they got a phone call.
Andrew got shot. So I'm like, what? My knees got so weak. I fell to my knees because we wasn't speaking terms.
The Camden County Prosecutor's Office says it was just before 10:30 when county police got a call for a man that was shot in the area of North 20th Street and Wayne Avenue.
Our victim was located on the sidewalk area.
Officers responded and found Drew with multiple gunshot wounds. They rushed him to the hospital.
So when we showed up, the crime scene was fairly large from the shooting and the suspect running away from the area. There was multiple people out there, but at the time, nobody was really willing to talk to us out there on scene.
Investigators say Drew was transferred from Cooper University Hospital to a medical facility in Atlantic City for treatment.
He's clearly fighting. 6 months.
A strongest soldier. Definitely was. Definitely.
But after nearly 5 months in the hospital, in May, Drew died from his injuries. The investigation shifting from a shooting to a homicide.
I know this is a little bit more challenging because it became a homicide kind of late in the game, and how does that impact the investigation, if it does?
So it's difficult having a delayed homicide because at that point we have lost some assets, right? Video only saves for so long. There's certain kinds of cellular data that might be gone at that point. The Camden County Police Department shooting response team did a very good job. They collected a lot of video that was able to help us advance the ball, but it's always tough coming in after the fact.
For the first time since Drew's murder, the prosecutor's office released this video to Fox 29 of the moments after he was shot.
What we'll see is a suspect fleeing the scene, and you'll notice a large flash consistent with muzzle flash from gunfire.
It shows the alleged shooter turning around and firing in the direction of 20th Street.
The person is blurry, they're covered up, it's winter time. It'd be very hard to make an identification, and that's a frustrating aspect of this case.
I wish I was there every moment. I would have caught that bullet for him. You know, parents are supposed to go before your children.
The prosecutor's office says Drew was hanging out in that night with at least one other individual.
It's not clear what led to this, and that's the really frustrating aspect of it, because we know that there are people with information. We know that there are people out there that night. We actually know who some of these people are. We know someone who was with Drew at that time. And time again, we've tried to have these people come in and speak with us, and they refuse to do so. And that's been the hardest part, is watching the family have to suffer and go through this when we know that there are individuals that could move this case forward, and they just refuse to do that.
If you could speak to the person that you saw in that video, what would you say to them?
I would tell him, you hurt me. You hurt me to where? You hurt me to where I'm not who I used to be. And I don't want this for any parent. Retaliation is something that a lot of people think about, and I don't want that. I need him to do the time because he did a crime. And he took my baby. He took my baby. My baby boy. I ride by that street all the time. Go to the cemetery all the time. I kind of talk to him all the time, you know.
What do you say to him?
I love him, I miss him.
Leda says Drew constantly sends her signs. She holds on to them. Her grief consistent, just evolving, and her pursuit of justice unwavering.
My son, no one's an angel. No one. But everybody knew that my son will always be there for them. My son was loyal. He was loyal. And that's all I'm asking for. Give him loyal in return, to where you don't worry about what no one else is saying. Just say what you know. I need this to be at rest, just like where my son is at rest.
Someone that could come and straighten this out and help us understand the full picture, but they refuse to do so. And I want to be clear to them, this isn't going away. We want them to come and talk with me, come and talk with the Camden County Police Department, and help us to bring closure for Drew's family. This has been 3 long years for them, and it's time to provide some answers.
Investigators are adamant these are not cold cases. They're open. We will continue to share your stories and work with those families to ensure their loved one is not forgotten. I'm Kelly Rule. If you have an unsolved case you would like us to highlight, reach out to me and we will continue to share them. Thank you so much to everyone who helped work on this special, and we'll see you again soon.